guys, on today's tip, we're going to talk about the difference between companion dog training versus obedience dog training. I know it may feel like the two are the exact same, but in this tip, we're going to talk about why they're actually different. So let's first talk about an obedience dog training program. When you're focusing more on obedience, you're going to have a dog that learns a lot of words, but you're going to have to micromanage them in order to get them to behave a certain way. When you're focusing more on companion dog training, you have a dog that's learning to make a decision based on a particular situation with minimum commands. So an example would be your friend ringing the doorbell, and you don't want your dog to bolt out the door, or you don't want your dog to jump on the person. So if you were using companion dog training, this would be your dog learning to analyze the situation and figure out what the right behavior would be. If you were doing obedience dog training and your friend came to the door, this would be you giving them an actual command to know what to do. So saying sit, back, wait, free, off, right? That's the difference when you are actually working with obedience and companionship. So what I'm saying is, in both those situations, when you're talking about companionship, you have a dog that's actually turning on the problem-solving switch in their brain, and they're actually figuring out the right way to behave. Versus in obedience training, you have a dog that turns off the problem-solving switch in their brain and waits for you to give them direction. We found over the years that owners enjoy living with dogs who are more companion dog trained versus obedience dog trained. The reason being is when you're doing a lot of obedience dog training with your dog, you're having to give so much more effort. When you're doing companionship, your dog is relying off of default behaviors and learning to actually figure out things themselves. So, in your tip today, figure out what your focus is. If you're wanting to do competitive obedience and you're entering into competitions, obedience training is something you want. Lots of words, because you're getting judged on how quickly your dog responds to commands. But if you're wanting just a dog that's easy to live with, you're most likely to focus more on companionship dog training in order to enjoy your canine.